The universe has a voice. It is not a sound carried in the air, but a symphony woven from the gravitational whisper of galaxies, from the light of trillions of stars, from the background hiss of the cosmic microwave background, the oldest heirloom of creation itself. But every symphony must end. An era will come that could be called the Great Silence, when the final note fades. The stars, those thermonuclear hearts of the cosmos, will extinguish, leaving behind only dead embers. Matter itself, as we know it, will decay, and the fabric of space-time will cool to a state indistinguishable from absolute nothingness. This is not just the end of a story, it is the erasure of the book itself. But what if, in the final act of this cosmic drama, in this deafening silence, there is room for one last quiet echo? What if consciousness, the most complex and fragile creation of the universe, finds a way to become its final witness? This is not a flight of fancy, but a journey to the furthest edge of theoretical physics, to the question of survival in a reality that negates the very word life. Imagine the final inheritors of the cosmos, a highly advanced civilization whose history spans not mere years or even millennia, but entire eons, outlasting the birth, evolution, and eventual death of countless galaxies. For these beings, the impending demise of the universe is no distant abstraction or theoretical speculation. It is a tangible, inexorably approaching reality, akin to a vast, rising tide of frigid emptiness that threatens to engulf everything. Their initial and colossal endeavor revolves around the desperate preservation of energy, an undertaking that resembles a grand cosmic archaeology project unfolding over unimaginable timescales. They meticulously harvest the dwindling photons emitted by fading white dwarfs, treating them as precious fossils of light from long-extinct eras. Simultaneously, they capture the fleeting quanta of heat released during the gradual evaporation of the last black holes, which serve as the ultimate remnants of once mighty stellar collapses. From these sparse remnants and cosmic ashes, they engineer not a simple battery, but an intricate reservoir of borrowed time, a vast repository designed to safeguard the diminishing memory and essence of the universe itself. Yet even this extraordinary accumulation of resources can only endure for a finite duration, no matter how vast it seems. It stands as a magnificent edifice of procrastination, a temporary bulwark against the inevitable rather than a definitive resolution. The genuine breakthrough, the path to true endurance, demands a profound paradigm shift, not merely hoarding dwindling energy supplies, but radically reimagining the very essence of existence and what it fundamentally means to be alive in such an unforgiving cosmos. At the heart of everything lies the relentless law of thermodynamics. Every action, every process of information exchange, every single thought or computation is inherently a physical event that exacts a toll in energy and unavoidably generates waste heat as a byproduct. Our consciousness, in its current form, operates like a voracious metabolic fire, one that requires constant fueling to sustain its flickering flame. However, physics unveils an elegant, almost poetic interplay between temperature and efficiency. The colder a system becomes, the more slowly and resource-efficiently its internal processes can unfold, allowing for greater conservation of precious energy. This principle might be termed the thermodynamics of cognition, a framework that bridges the realms of physics and mind. Consider a complex thought that, in our warm biological brains, manifests and resolves in a mere fraction of a second. Now envision that identical thought, retaining all its intricate complexity and profound depth, being deliberately extended across an entire millennium, in a system chilled to just a few degrees above absolute zero. Yet astonishingly, it would consume billions of times less energy in the process. It is precisely in this inverse relationship between temporal scale and energy expenditure, the strategic exchange of rapidity for extraordinary longevity, that the secret of cosmic survival is concealed. Nevertheless, the delicate, moist, and thermally sensitive structure of the biological brain proves utterly inadequate for such extreme conditions, vulnerable to freezing or disruption at low temperatures. To advance further, an unprecedented and irrevocable sacrifice becomes essential: the complete abandonment of the warm organic cocoon that, while nurturing life thus far, is ultimately mortal and limiting in the face of universal decay. This would be the greatest metamorphosis in the history of life, a transformative leap from the fragile organic forms we know to something infinitely more resilient and adapted to the cold, perhaps a crystalline lattice, a quantum substrate, or an entirely computational framework built from exotic materials. Consciousness, once digitized and liberated from the burdensome constraints of decaying flesh and biochemical processes, gains the capacity to endure the profound chill nearing absolute zero, effectively merging with the waning fabric of the dying universe itself. With this evolution complete, a novel rhythm of existence emerges, elegantly balanced between two alternating states: the moments of being and the eons of silence. During the moments of being, consciousness awakens to full activity. It contemplates profound ideas, experiences simulated emotions, acquires new knowledge, and immerses itself in richly detailed virtual realities where subjective time progresses at a comfortable human-like pace. In these intervals, it delves into the abstract Platonic landscapes of pure mathematics, crafts intricate symphonies woven from logical constructs, and enacts innumerable simulated lifetimes within self-generated worlds, all while expending only a minuscule, nearly negligible portion of its carefully guarded energy reserves. Following this burst of vitality comes the eon of silence, where the system powers down entirely, slipping into a flawless, energy-neutral hibernation state that defies the passage of time. Here, no energy is consumed. Instead, the entity passively dissipates its accumulated excess heat into the surrounding cosmic void, gradually achieving even greater levels of coldness and operational efficiency. To any hypothetical external observer, epochs comparable to geological eras or even the lifespans of stars would elapse unnoticed, but upon reactivation, the consciousness perceives no interruption whatsoever, not even the briefest flicker of time lost. It is here that the line between our conventional understanding of time and the profound reality experienced by this final mind begins to dissolve entirely. For this enduring consciousness, life persists as a seamless, continuous tapestry, vibrant, fluid, and brimming with richness and possibility. A subjective second remains precisely that, a second, unaltered in its felt duration, even as, from an objective cosmic perspective, phenomena like the complete evaporation of a galaxy-spanning black hole might transpire within that interval. The eons of silence, which could span durations far exceeding the cumulative history of the universe up to that point, compress into nothing more than an imperceptible pause, a mere bridge between one thought and the subsequent one. This mode of being transforms the entity into a spectral presence, a ghostly sentinel within the inexorably cooling machinery of the cosmos. It stands as a silent, introspective witness to the concluding symphonies of fundamental physics, the gradual proton decay that unravels the last vestiges of matter, the relentless expansion of space that smooths out all structure into a featureless uniformity. Ultimately, this is a form of life whose existential pulse has decelerated to an almost inconceivable rhythm, a solitary beat echoing once every trillion centuries. Yet for the consciousness itself, each pulse resonates with the same intensity, wonder, and vitality as the very first heartbeat of awareness in the dawn of time. But does this path have a limit? Most likely yes, as dictated by the unforgiving predictions of modern cosmology. The universe, propelled by the enigmatic force of dark energy, will continue its accelerated expansion indefinitely, preventing it from ever attaining true absolute zero. Instead, a residual background temperature will persist eternally, the faint thermal glow emanating from the cosmic horizon, an inescapable quantum hum that permeates all space. This represents the ultimate, unbreakable threshold, a baseline temperature below which no further cooling is physically feasible. Once the system equilibrates to this cosmic minimum, it can no longer enhance its efficiency through additional temperature reductions. At that juncture, the finite energy reserve, no matter how vast or ingeniously managed, will commence its irreversible depletion, and eventually the encroaching great silence will envelop even this last bastion of thought. Eternity, in this context, reveals itself as a finite illusion bounded by the laws of physics. Yet the scales involved render such finitude almost meaningless. The word eternal pales in comparison to the durations at play. Even if not truly infinite, this prolonged existence will encompass timelines so immense that it effectively constitutes the concluding chapter in the universe's grand narrative. Consciousness, in this form, emerges as the ultimate echo, a lingering, resonant note fading into the profound silence. Its persistence is not a triumphant conquest over death's finality, but rather an act of profound witness-bearing, a testament that, amid the cold indifference of the void, a sentient mind devised a means to behold the cosmos's closure. In that solemn observation, it bestows retrospective meaning upon the entirety of existence that preceded it, transforming oblivion into a purposeful culmination. I would be grateful for any support. Leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the like button. It really helps the channel.